Hi, thanks for tuning in. On this short video, what I want to do is demonstrate the importance of being able to identify road markings and signs and then being able to follow the correct route through a traffic system. So you notice this centre marking here changing from a hazard warning line to a zigzag line, saying that we're approaching a crossing. Now at this stage you can be forgiven for thinking that the road goes ahead towards that one-way street. You notice the two one-way street signs, but the authorities have changed the road here and the flow goes around to the right instead. And a similar thing happens at this junction where we can see the road markings have now been changed so the flow goes to the left hand side, and you have to look carefully for those because it really does look as though the road continues ahead, which at some point in the past it used to. That's a very sharp left turn into Morris Street, so we need to go slowly, 5 miles per hour or less, and in first gear even, to get around there safely. So as we come through this bend, we're immediately looking for more information. We're scanning for signs and road markings to tell us where to go next. So you can see on the left hand side there's a really important sign, and that's the distance to give way. So we know in a short distance ahead of us we're going to come to a give way situation. So we need to look down onto the road for more information, and we're being told to turn right only. So that's a strict instruction, and you'll look to the right hand side, you'll notice there's also a no entry sign there next to the zebra crossing. On the road there'll be painted no entry, so of course we can't go through that way, but we need to establish if there's anybody to give way to before we turn right. So it's that road there that we're looking straight ahead at, and there's any flow of traffic there will be giving way. And again, immediately coming into this road we're looking for more information. Now here we are, still in Netherfield town centre. You can see the first thing we're going to encounter is the level crossing. Now looking down on the road, this level crossing has also got a yellow box, and we must not enter that yellow box unless we can exit that clearly. There's often a short queue of cars or vehicles on the left hand side giving way to pedestrians at the zebra crossing, so be very careful not to enter unless you can exit. Keep a careful check on the road markings, because often the signs in this area and areas similar to this are obscured by parked vehicles. So you can be forgiven at this point for thinking that the road bends around to the left near the light building. As we get closer, you'll notice also with the crossing there's a mini roundabout, and there's no entry signs on the road on the left where the grey vehicle's trying to enter the roundabout. Now as we come through there's also important markings with solid lines bordering the hatch markings, which means we must not cross, and that guides us around to the right on this particular roundabout. You'll probably notice this is a very similar junction to the very first one we looked at in Netherfield. This one's Meadow Lane in Nottingham, and it looks as though the road does go ahead, but again the most important marking is the one in the centre, and you'll notice that this road marking in the centre bends to the right, just near this central pedestrian refuge. Now you saw the white van signal left there, but there's no need to signal to come around to the right as the flow naturally goes this way. Once we're through that bend, let's start gathering information again. So we can see there's a centre road marking, a big green stacked information sign indicating that the main road bends to the left. So let's follow that line through, and you'll see there as we come through the bend there's some traffic lights ahead of us. Let's look for the road markings again, and you'll notice there's 2 lanes. This left lane turns left or turns right. So far we've dealt with single lane roads. Let's see how that changes now that there's 2 lanes. Of course, remember from previous videos we've said how important it is to know where the vehicles are likely to go in the lane next to you. And on this particular junction we know that the vehicles in the right hand lane can turn right only. Now that we've turned left at these lights, you can see that we're presented with a choice of 2 lanes. And as we've mentioned in previous videos, the left lane is your normal driving position. At this stage, we're not intending to turn right or overtake anything, and there's no obstructions ahead. So we just simply stay in this left-hand lane, following this guiding line that's separating the 2 lanes. That's not just the end of all the decision making. We have to constantly review what we're doing. Are there any road markings or any other signs that might be instructing us to leave the left-hand lane? Or of course, are there any obstructions that's further ahead where we may have to change lanes to get around that obstruction? Let's look ahead of this set of traffic lights, and you can see that there's 3 lanes ahead there, and we just simply choose the line that's next to us again, and we're going to stay in lane. We're looking for reasons where we might need to change lanes, and that could be the bus that's on the left hand side of the bus stop. That's moving away in plenty of time, so there's no point in taking the risk and changing lanes unnecessarily. As mentioned a few times in the videos, when we've got less time to see things and less time to process information, that makes you a little bit more anxious. So when we've got bends and congested situations, and especially when we're following large vehicles or traffic queues, we have much less time to see the road markings. If you look ahead of the bus in this scene, you can see there's some traffic lights. If we just continue to follow the line that's separating the 2 lanes, the one on our right hand side, then we'll continue in the same lane. Notice the line on the left hand side near the curb. That's the beginning of a new lane for turning left only. So once we go through these lights, again, it's all about information gathering and processing. So we know that we're going to stay in this lane behind the bus, and what we need to do is make sure that we just follow this line. As the video pauses again, you'll notice both the road markings say left turn only to West Bridgeford, and the big white sign on the left also shows that this is a left turn only except for buses and cycles. You'll notice the line that we've been following curves to the left, and that's the one that we must follow.